Hi, everyone. My name is Amy Dushak. I'm a third grade self-contained teacher at Elizabeth Ford Elementary School. Today, I'll be discussing some of the Canvas techniques that you can utilize to set up your own Canvas pages. This is not set in stone. They're just ideas if you are a beginner or you're stuck and you don't really know how to begin. So I started here with my sample Canvas page. This this is very similar to my actual Canvas page that I have. I start out with my contact information, my office hours for parents, email, any links or passwords that students may need. That's all entailed in the beginning. At the bottom, you'll notice I have tabs: virtual days, math, language arts. All of these tabs are meant for students. I utilize this every single day in my classroom. I make sure there's icons, so in case kids have a hard time reading, they can obviously just recognize the icon and they know where to go. One of the first things I want to utilize, though, and explain is our playlist, because that's where everything comes from in our weekly design and curriculum instruction. It's driven by our weekly playlist, which is very similar to a teacher's lesson plan. However, we share this with parents and students so that they can keep track at home, work, school, wherever, on what we're learning for the week. We include when assessments are. We color code reading, grammar, spelling, so that it's the same color each day and it's in, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, weekly order. We include page numbers. We might even include links. I know on Thursdays, we always include the Jeopardy and the Kahoot link for parents, so students can play that. So as they are going along at home, they can see everything that we have planned for the week. Some teachers do decide to utilize it by day and they post a daily playlist. My team and we preferred a weekly playlist, and parents seem to be very happy with that. I also am a mother of an 8-year-old, so I kind of have the parent perspective along with the teacher perspective, and I find this very, very helpful. Now I'm going to go back to my regular home page. One of the things I also wanted to, discuss is that how you set it up. You want it to be attractive and engaging to students, but you don't want it to be too overstimulating to students. You shouldn't have hearts and stars and things where it's actually more confusing and it's distracting for the student to navigate. So I try to keep calming colors. I try to keep very basic fonts. And the other thing that I want to utilize every day is my math and my language arts. I do not create a page and just stop and never visit it again. We utilize this Canvas course every single day in class. So for example, this is my math. We do the Envisions curriculum, but this can be tailored to any curriculum. I include the workbook pages that we need. I scan them in if I don't have them available online. I include the visual learning videos. If you have videos for your curriculum and you don't have a copy, QuickTime easily allows you to screen record. So that's what I do. I screen record and I attach along with YouTube videos. There are a ton of YouTube videos with teachers out there that are instructing on how to complete the workbook pages, reteaching pages. They give complete instruction. I also include it, you'll see, is an exit ticket so that the students can send that back if they choose to when they come back to school, or take a picture of it so that I can check for understanding in that lesson. So as you can see, I break it down each day by lesson and it follows along with the playlist so students can easily access any information that they need. I also include, one of the major things is Blookits and Kahoots and Jeopardy so that students can reinforce what they've been learning and practice for their assessments all week long. Parents also enjoy that because it's a fun way for students to practice, for their assessments instead of just sitting there, writing words or just practicing with paper and pencil. I add additional information. There's instructional videos, just, as extra resources for the students to utilize. Here's the math grids for third grade Envisions. I also add in Google activities. Do I grade these? No. If I need to during class, I'll have students when they complete to come up and I will check off that they completed the activity, but these are also accessible at home. They click on the page and they can complete the activity that correlates with the topic or the unit that we're working on. So here you can see we're doing fractions. I've posted anchor charts for them. I also do a ton of, math videos, for multiplication, division, things that they need to be working on every single night throughout the school year. So this is a great way to just keep posting things that need to be reinforced. We utilize this every day. I put up the workbook pages, I put it on my iPad, and I can easily get my Apple Pen out and I can start to explain activities, but the students can also have this information and they can access it anytime. I can say from a parent and a teacher perspective, it's very nice to have things available to you on your phone, your laptop, your iPad, or if there's students that have flexible families, they can go wherever they choose and they can still access this information. Now, along with math, we always have language arts. I utilize language arts. The kids are on their iPads. They access Canvas every day. The reason for this being is that when we do have a virtual day or we do have a reason we need to get on Canvas, there's no questions. The first virtual snow day I had not one email because everybody already knew what to do. They knew where to access the playlist. They knew what we were doing for the day. They knew how to, get their math workbook pages. I also wanted to show you my language arts. So in this, on this page, I have everything that the kids need for their weekly lessons. There is an online book. Students, as a student choice, they are allowed to use their regular hardback books, but they can also utilize the book here. And then parents love it because they're not taking home a big, heavy book and they can access that book to reread the story or to learn the comprehension vocab words anytime they want from any device. I put the workbook pages up. I have Newsela articles for the students to read. I put PowerPoints up, and if you click on any of these links, they'll take you to videos, read alouds, instructional information, even the leveled readers. I also put on here the playlist. So when I do reading groups, students can easily just go onto the language arts page. They can see if they are a square, a triangle, rectangle, whatever we do that month, and they can access the assignments in the order in which they're supposed to do them. I even have a link for the leveled readers. I also set up for the kids Kahoots and Blookits. And if you look, I do one for comprehension, vocabulary, grammar, and the same thing with the Blookits. So students are actually practicing at least 5 times throughout the week just in Kahoots and Blookits. And they do like the Blookits more because there are multiple boards that they can utilize and they can actually have their friends, they'll say at the end of the day while we're waiting for buses, hey, everyone get on Blookit at 6 p.m. and let's practice for the test. So they can work together from their homes. I put in all the comprehension information. I post posters. There's short videos if they need those. Read alouds, you can get those off of YouTube, and I embed them in. There's grammar. I put videos for that as well. I put all the vocabulary videos. There's PowerPoints, Quizlets with pictures so they can quiz themselves on the vocab. They're closed readers and their workbook pages. And the workbook pages, when you click on them, can actually access Google Slides so that they can type in it and they don't even need to worry about printing anything out. As far as spelling, I started to realize that parents were struggling, and along with myself sometimes, with spelling. Students didn't want to write it, nor did they want to do big, long packets. So one of the things that I came up with to help parents and students was create Google Slide activities. There's also at the bottom, there's spelling city activities, and there's spelling training, which are different video games. They put their spelling words in, type them in for the week, and they can actually do different activities. Parents like this because it's not always just write your words 3 times each. It's something creative. And you might say, well, how do you know that the students are really doing that? Trust me, one week I forgot to change the spelling city list, and students were saying, Mrs. Dushak, you forgot to change our list. So I know that they're out there and they're practicing and they're utilizing it every week. I also put up phonics and spelling. Now, do we cover all of these every single day? No, but I put them up there so that when students need them, they're there every single week. I also put our reading strategy, which is our chunking checklist, and our race strategies, which is our writing strategies up, along with instructional videos you'll see right here at the bottom. So anytime a student might forget, how do I write this from home? They can watch a video on it and it will give them the information that we cover in class. Now you might say to yourself, that's a lot of work. How do I do that? Well, it's actually pretty easy because once you have this made one time, you can duplicate the page. So this is why I made a sample course, because you can go to the view pages. And as it's warming up, you'll see it will list all of your pages. But if I go to my story of the two bears and I hit the 3 dots and I duplicate it, now it's made an entire copy of that. All I have to do is go in now and edit any of the pages. They're there. I can change the vocab words. I already have the grid. I already have the links. So is what I would typically do on a regular week is I might click on the Newsela, take off the link, put a new link on. Same thing with, the PowerPoint or the Kahoots. I just go into Kahoot, find the new link for the news story, and I attach it to that. I'm not going to go into details today about how to do all of this. What I'm talking about is how you use it every single day. Many teachers spend time all summer long creating beautiful, wonderful pages, and then they put it away and they don't use it. And they say that's a wrap and that's it. Or on a virtual day, they wonder why kids can't still navigate it when they've made it so easy and so pretty, but they haven't utilized it every day. It needs to be like a math routine. It needs to be like your morning transitions. Every single day, if you utilize it, if they bring this up every single day and they utilize these links and they're reading the book from the Canvas page and they're doing the workbook pages from the Canvas page, you will have no problem if tomorrow you get a phone call saying you're digital for the rest of the year. I promise you that. Parents love it because it's easy. They can access it and they know where everything is and they are following along with me. It's funny. I try to every Monday at 9 o'clock, I put up the new playlist so that there's no confusion. And one day I was sick and I had a phone call saying, where's the playlist at? We need the playlist. And from parents. And I said, I'm sorry, I was sick. I'm right on it, and I got there in a few minutes. So this is and it also makes students, I think, very accountable and independent. There are kids, I hate to say this, but there isn't a lot of interaction at home, or maybe mom has 3 kids and they're all going to different sports activities and these kids need to study or need to reread their story. They can do it all by themselves. There's so many kids that said, I don't even need my grandma anymore, Mrs. Dushak. I study for my spelling, I do my Kahoots, I do the activities, and they're getting A's. And I'm starting to see more and more of that happening in my classroom as they feel comfortable with the Canvas pages. So another thing I'd like to do is to go back to my home page. My home page is not just a page where you get information. It's also a page that has many other functions as well. So let's let it load for a second. And you will see, once again, there's my contact information. There are my tabs, my newsletter. I put up a newsletter every week. I do try to make it black and white. I know teachers like to make it very colorful, but sometimes they need to be printed out. And so just for, easy accessibility for parents and myself, I make my newsletters in black and white. I have the schedule, the rotations for specials. I also, and I can't take credit for a lot of these things that you see on these pages, especially the PowerPoints like this, because I get them off of Facebook. There's journeys pages and visions pages, Bitmoji on Facebook, a ton of resources that I just belong to. And I find things that teachers make and I'm like, hey, that's a great idea. I'm going to put that on Canvas and see how it works out with my students. This was something awesome. It says, I'm done, now what? How many times do we have students and they don't know what to do next, or they're bored, or what do you need to do? So I have a PowerPoint now that actually guides them along depending on what class we're in. So if we're in language arts, they know first they should work on their IXL, study their skill plan. Epic, they can read books. AR tests for their library. eSpark, language arts. So they have a variety of things. They already know what to do. Some of these have the links on them. Some of them have the apps because it's on their iPads and they just know to go to that app. But now they have, an outline of where they need to go when they're done with their work without asking me or bothering other students. The next thing I put on my homepage are brain breaks. Parents have said how wonderful this is. I utilize it with my own son at home, and I utilize it in the classroom sometimes too. When students are, they have a lot of built up energy, or they're starting to, check out and they're not focused anymore. We do a brain break just for a few minutes. There are just some activities on here where they might duck and jump and, do a little game, but then they come back and they're refreshed and they're ready to focus again. And I told parents to start utilizing that. And I saw a really good effect on students, and parents were very happy when they were starting to get frustrated at home with their students that they could take a brain break and then go back. And the kids seemed much, much happier. So I leave these up. I change my page every month. This was my December page, as you can obviously see. I put other activities for language arts so they can do sequence, there's characters, comprehension. Once again, I didn't make many of these. These were shared with me from other teachers. I also put up books, library books, videos, things that they can utilize. There's also technology and coding. I got this off a teacher who shares these monthly on Twitter. She does an amazing job. The kids enjoy them. There's lots of factual information. There's coding. There's technology fun on there, sing-alongs, and a lot of background information for whatever's going on for the month. We have Google Slides activities. I even do direct draws. Some teachers might think that's just fun, but for things like when we had, Christmas card exchange with other states and schools, they were able to draw the pictures based on the direct draws. It really helped them. Or when we were doing a story on being an illustrator, they understood how to be an illustrator following the direct draw process. Once again, more books about winter. And then I have some fun activities. So maybe on a Friday afternoon, they've accomplished everything. They did a great job that day. I'll say, go on the homepage, you can complete some activities. There were videos about holiday lights. I also incorporated some knowledge that we had. Sorry about that. I also included extra knowledge about, we were learning about the Nutcracker in school that week, in that month, and we had people from the Nutcracker come. So I incorporated, PowerPoints that I found. There were activities, videos that the students, as extension activity, what we were already learning throughout our school. This is a great way to not just make Canvas school oriented, but to make it engaging and fun as well, to show that there are some fun aspects to it. There are some things that, we can incorporate from our school or from what we're learning in our curriculum and make it fun and engaging for kids. So that's what I wanted to talk about with that. Now, where do you find some of these resources? Facebook is amazing. Some people say I stay off of social media. I understand that, but there's a lot of, whether you're doing Wanders, CKLA, there's amazing groups of teachers just making free material and putting it out there. I caution you, I'd ask your technology department before you post up things that you paid for on Teachers Paid Teachers due to copyright issues. Please make sure you verify that. I typically don't put anything on like that. If a parent needs a copy, I will personally email them or send them home a copy, but I don't particularly post it up on Canvas, especially if it's paid materials. I'd like to go through my STEAM now. A lot of parents say, we don't have time for science, or, what are you doing in your science curriculum? It is the same thing. Every day in science, we watch videos, we complete activities. We do mystery science. We do a couple of other programs integrated with it. I put up PowerPoints. There are digital activities. So this can go for every single period, every single day. My students have iPads, and I can't imagine a day without Canvas. It's a part of them. You can walk in, you can ask them, how do you find your reading book? How can you find some videos on multiplication? And they know exactly where to go and how to reference it. But I can't emphasize enough, once again, I know I've already said this, but you need to utilize this every day in your class. You cannot just make it and put it aside and hope on the next virtual day we bring it up. The parents use the playlist every single week. The kids use the pages every single week. And another thing, another feature too, I'd like to show you that's very nice. If you're working on a team, you can share your pages. Every team member doesn't have to make a page. You could easily hit send to, and then if I choose to, I can send it to one of my partners at school, and she can automatically get my page for the week, and we can share information. So it's a really good resource to collaborate with your team members, with other teachers. I can't emphasize that enough. I love Canvas. I think it's great, and I think it's great as a parent. I don't like to see when you have this great resource and people just put up 4 sentences a day. To me, that's not enough. I don't utilize the calendar, but because they have this already available, and we have a calendar for school and for the district and for our building. So I feel like we have enough calendars. Now, a question you might actually, a lot of people would have is assessments. Now, with Skyward and PowerSchool, do you need to create assessments in separate courses? Yes, you do. But when you do that and you set up a time, so every Friday I have, for example, my comprehension quiz, it shows up on the bottom of their iPad on the clipboard as 3 tests: comprehension, vocab, and grammar. They never have to access those courses. It's at the bottom of the screen. They click on it and they go through and take each assessment. They never access the other courses. I realized as a mom with a kindergartner, first grader, second grader going through the pandemic, that it was really, really hard for him, even though I was a teacher, for him to articulate back to me what he did in each class and to navigate each course. It was just very, very difficult. Now, if you are a 4th or 5th grade teacher, I understand we departmentalize in many districts and do these things, but for the self-contained teachers, it's really not necessary to have these young students going to all these courses. Everything I do is in one course, and just with pages in it, and it breaks it down for them so that they know where to access everything and they're not confused. My advice, if you are doing separate courses, please put icons on, on your courses, on your pages, so that the kids can easily navigate things. Parents don't understand what you're teaching every single day. You kind of have to walk them through it a little bit too. But for this training, I wanted to teach self-contained teachers how to put it all together in a Canvas course, use it every day, and make it part of a tool that is utilized in your classroom, and it's integrated. It's there every day, just like your pencil or your notepad. Now you have this. The kids love it. They don't have to take books home. Parents love it. They're not worrying about, did they lose the paper out of the folder? It's all there. Even in the modules, I put a spelling contract up every week with signatures. Parents don't even need the printout, or if they lose it, they can reprint it out. So these are just some of the features that you can utilize every day. Another thing I do are class photos. I feel a little, uncomfortable sometimes posting things on social media with children. So we still have, permission slips for them, but I do make a class photo page where I can share with my parents that are working, or they may not have time, what exactly is going on in our classroom. I love as a parent too to see pictures of my son and some of the things that he's doing wonderfully, especially when I asked him how his day went and he was like, it's fine. And then I find out he did these amazing activities through these pictures, and I'm like, wow, look at all the stuff your teacher did. It's amazing. And he's like, yeah, we did do that, Mom. We did. So I wanted to start sharing those types of things with parents. And this is a good way. And the kids kind of have a feeling of accomplishment, and they can show an accountability like, hey, Grandma, look what I drew today. My teacher took a picture of it, put it on Canvas. And they really think that that's fun. The assemblies, when they sing or have special parts where they speak, I make sure I record all that and put it out to parents, because these are special moments that I want to share with them. Another thing that's very, very important, like I said, I don't do the calendar, but I do our schedules so that they know every week what they need to have, along with a newsletter. I do make paper copies every week for the parents as well, because in case someone didn't have access to the internet, they now have access to my newsletter. And my newsletter I make in Canva. I love Canva. I can't speak highly enough about it. I've been utilizing it now for a few years, and they've really stepped up their game for educators. There are some teachers that have tons and tons of just designs and worksheets and presentations and movies and all types of things for teachers to utilize with their students every single day. So like I said before, this is a black and white. It makes it accessible if you need to print it out easily. It has the test. It has the reminders for the week. Maybe there's a 2-hour delay. Maybe we have, it says here on Wednesday, we have technology. Parents, it's all just different ways for parents and children to access information. And I realized that I started getting less and less questions when I started to utilize Canvas more and more every day. The kids, as far as assignments, I still do some paper assignments. The reason for that being is because it's still developmentally appropriate in 3rd grade to do that, to have paper and pen, to learn those motor skills. When I taught middle school, it was typically all on Canvas, but yes, I still give tests or assignments or writing, assignments on paper and pen, and that's okay. So if you are wondering, do I put everything on that? Do I sign it? No, I do not. I still feel that at this age, it's important that we give them those chances to build those motor skills. Okay, so I think I've wrapped up everything I possibly can. If you need to email me for any reason, if you need help setting up, let me know. If you need help learning how to integrate it into your classroom, let me know. But I just thought about when I was making this as a parent, what did I need to know during the pandemic that I couldn't receive from teachers or from my son? How could I put that out there? And I'll say it again, and I've said it 1,000 times during this training, just in case someone wasn't listening, was in the bathroom, or skipped over it. Make sure you utilize this every day. Make it a routine. Make it part of your regular instruction. It will make life a lot easier for you and for the students, and you will become more and more comfortable. And every year you are going to increase what you embed, what you try, what activities you want to include. It will be a revolving door of just getting better and better and more comfortable. I hope I gave you some ideas. Like I said before, have any questions, contact me. I'm always available. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you. Have a great day.